Hello and welcome to NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there were a lot of good games like NHL provides almost on daily basis. We had two picks and here you can see the results of those. So we continued our let's say standard trend here with the two games. Nashville visited Columbus. Nashville hasn't performed not even close what this was predicted beginning of the season, and they couldn't score a single goal. Latvian Elvis had a shot out, and Columbus won 3-0. Then we predicted under for Minnesota against Anaheim. Good goaltending both sides, but there wasn't too much to tend because amount of shots was very limited, especially for first two periods. Minnesota won at the end 3-1. Last goal was to empty net, so very clear under 5.5 goals. So both picks were correct. Tommy, any surprises?
No surprises. Very good round overall in our simulations, and of course, love to see the green again in our picks. In Columbus, like we speculated, John Tortorella probably make the guys watch a lot of videos. Now they shut out the Nashville Predators completely. So a great game from Columbus. By no means they are ready yet. They are still in progress, especially offensively. But now a very good team effort to beat Nashville 3-0, and a good pick for us, especially with this value. And the Anaheim Minnesota game, exactly as we predicted. Anaheim unable to score, only 17 shots all game, so quite an easy game for Minnesota goalkeeper. And then Minnesota did what they had to win the game 1-3. So quite a clear under, no worries there at any point because the shots total was so low that no way it was gonna go under. So very good picks from us, and let's keep this going.
Yeah, I fully agree that somehow the game starts to go as predicted, and that is of course good for our picks. But there were a lot of other games as well. Simulations were predicting those pretty accurately. Any highlights of the last nights?
Yeah, the simulations only got two side values wrong of all games, so extremely good selection. Those highlighted games that we were speaking yesterday, for example, New York Rangers visiting Philadelphia. Rangers finally managed to win, of course, not in the regulation, but still a good value there for us. We had them winning about 56% of the games. And then New Jersey Devils visiting Boston, the same thing, 1-goal game. We had them at 42%, while the odds were around 32%. So extremely good value of plus 199 there. So a very good picks. These underdogs. Also, Los Angeles Kings winning in Arizona. So great value all over the board. So this time it wouldn't have mattered which ones we picked because most of the games were correct.
How about totals? Many games went under except Toronto, Ottawa. I think we had a few of those predicted as well.
Yeah, we got the over-unders correct as well in a couple of games. That was actually a little bit in the minus because we did make a selection to all of the night's games, which is not always the case, but there was some value found. We got 4 correct and 5 incorrect this time around. Of course, the unders in Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, and Philly, New York Rangers. And then in Arizona and that Anaheim game that we picked, all of those we picked under and they went under. So some profit there, but overall a little bit minus.
Okay. How about in overall our simulation performance since start of the season? Even though our picks haven't been perfect every night, how about total profit or loss?
Yeah, our overall simulations are a lot better than our picks, which we have established already. So no worries there. We are plus 1,250 from the side value picks, so the ones that we are trying to hit all the time. So 240 games altogether that we've picked, and plus 1,250 profit there. In the money line also profit of 965, and in the totals as well, when you count the odds or take the odds in the equation, we have made a profit of plus 602 out of 180 picks. So very good overall, more than 2,000 easily the profits here. So let's keep this going, and the couple of last days has been really good for the simulation engine and for us, of course.
Yeah, I think all this stuff is at the end based on the simulation numbers, and then we just try to pick up best of the best, but that doesn't always result the best results. But when system provides numbers for every game, you should bet every game.
Exactly.
Then when we go to the season futures, like Tommy mentioned yesterday, we have updates over there. If you start from the Central Division, currently Florida leads the division, then surprising team Chicago is second, and Tampa, Carolina following within 1 point. So quite tight, and like I said, Columbus also within 2 points of the lead. So first 5 very tight, then Dallas has played quite a few games fewer than, for example, Columbus, and then Nashville and Detroit, the 2 last ones, maybe already dropping out from the playoff race. How about our simulations? What is the current prediction for those teams on the top?
Yeah, we do still have Tampa Bay and Carolina, the top 2 teams of this Central Division. But then we have, like now, the standings do seem that way, that Florida and Chicago are the 2 teams that are filling the playoff position. So we did have Dallas and Nashville going into the playoffs early on the season, but now they have fallen from the race. So especially Nashville, a massive disappointment so far. So really hard times in the Tennessee there. But Dallas, of course, has played now a little bit less games, so it might change a bit. They are quite close in simulations to make the playoffs. The difference to Florida Panthers holding the 4th spot is around less than 2 points. So I think that's the battle we're gonna see between Chicago, Florida, and Dallas for the final 2 playoff places. While Tampa and Carolina do seem to be the top teams, they are collecting more than 70 points in the simulations as well. So those 2 pretty clear, but then it's all open with at least 3 teams, maybe Columbus as well, and who knows what's going to happen in Nashville. They should be more competitive, but they played really badly so far.
Yeah, looks like probability to reach playoffs based on the season simulation for Nashville is now less than 1%, so doesn't look very good for them, but like you said, they should be performing much better, and naturally the simulations have taken into consideration the previous performance on the ice. So if you are losing all the time, it's difficult for any machine to predict that you are suddenly start to win.
Yeah, you're probably not going to reach the playoffs this time around if you have a losing record. So it's something that the machine is already taking into consideration.
And then if we continue to East Division, there we had from the beginning 3 teams predicted top of the league, top of the division, Washington, Boston, and Philadelphia. That was our prediction for winner when the season started. Those teams are top of the division there, but then with the same points with third New York Islanders is there. Are the Islanders now taking New York Rangers spot in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think finally we are losing faith in New York Rangers that we've been predicting to do better all season long, but they haven't really delivered. They did win last night against the Philadelphia Flyers, but doesn't look that good for them, especially in this division that is really, really close. So we have at the moment Washington Capitals winning it with around 67 points. But then when you take a look down the table, the last team of this division, Buffalo Sabres, is collecting 56 points. So there is barely 10-point difference between the first and the last in this division. So it is really close. We have Capitals, Bruins, Flyers, Penguins at the moment going to the playoffs. But Islanders, Devils have now gathered 64% of the points that they have been offered, so they should be in the playoffs according to the point averages. Of course, with the COVID stuff, they played a little bit less, so let's see how that changes. But in the simulations, really close. Hard to say which team will make the playoffs. Now it looks like Penguins holds the 4th spot, but they are within a point from New York Islanders in the simulations as well. So a very close division, and probably going to see a lot of overtime games like we've seen so far. So something to keep an eye out if you don't want to end up in the shootout and in the overtime games, don't bet on this division.
Yeah. I think that's a very interesting division, and while some other teams haven't performed like it was expected, some has really taken steps in rebuilding, like New York Devils, and they have been better than many experts and our simulation predicted before the season.
Yeah, Devils young guys have taken a step. Well, not even so young guys anymore, but the sort of up and coming players have taken the step forward, and their better players have also provided. So unlike if we take a comparison to New York Rangers, where the other opposite is going on, so the young players haven't really delivered in New Jersey. That has happened, so that's one of the reasons why Devils might be the surprise team this season and not the Rangers like we predicted.
Then Scotia North Division, there we had Toronto, Edmonton, Winnipeg and Calgary at the beginning of the season. Right now it looks like Toronto, Edmonton and Winnipeg have high probabilities to reach playoffs. Montreal is still hanging around there in the standings, but our simulations haven't really been fond of the Canadiens team, but are they now reaching the playoffs based on the simulation as well?
Yeah, Montreal Canadiens have finally impressed the simulation engine, so they are now 4th in this. But the difference between Montreal and Calgary fighting for the 4th spot there is really tiny. So in the percentages, it's about 2%. So Montreal has 53% chance to make the playoffs, while Calgary has about 51% chance. So it is easily within 1 point in the points forecast. So everything can happen. And like in the Eastern Division, this Canadian Northern Division, maybe except for the top team, Toronto, it is quite open. So even Edmonton, Winnipeg are not surefire to make it to the playoffs, even if the simulations do indicate them around 90% at the time. But like we've seen, Vancouver and even Ottawa are capable of stealing the points from the better teams. So this is a very, very even division in that regard as well. So nothing is certain. But we do have Toronto, Edmonton quite sure to go, Winnipeg Jets as well, and then Montreal and Calgary fighting for the 4th spot.
Yeah, Edmonton was a bit slow start team, but now they have seemed to find their stride and has been starting to perform as predicted. So let's see how long that lasts, and especially how good the defense and goaltending in Edmonton is, because we all know that they have the offense, but is that enough?
Yeah, it definitely helps now they have Mike Smith back, so they do have 2 NHL caliber goaltenders. Neither is top level. Neither is gonna win Vezina Trophy, but with the duo of Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith, it's a quite balanced duo there. So it definitely helps Edmonton to win some games as well.
Then Honda West division, there Colorado, Vegas, and St. Louis were the top 3 teams before the season. They are clearly the best teams. All teams have over 65% of the points collected so far. Vegas has played a little bit less than these. Colorado has also only 13 games, so they have played a little bit less than St. Louis, who is leading the division right now. But which team will be number 4 in the West?
Yeah, this division seems the clearest of them all because of those 3 teams that are quite definitely going into the playoffs, spots 1 to 3. But then we do have Minnesota Wild going in the 4th spot. And it's quite clear, actually, the difference between then upcoming Los Angeles Kings and Arizona Coyotes. For some reason, now the Coyotes are not favored by the simulation, so they are actually falling behind Los Angeles Kings in the race for the playoffs. But those differences are really, really small, so a couple of points there. Minnesota, surprisingly as well, because they haven't played that well, but something impresses the simulation engine of the Minnesota Wild game. They are the 4th team now going to the playoffs with about 78% probability to reaching the postseason. So a bit of a surprise there. Minnesota does have the capability definitely to beat the Kings, the Coyotes, Sharks, and Ducks, but I don't think they are anywhere near challenging the 3 best teams of this division. But let's see. I do have my personal thoughts would be that Arizona could have the chance to take the 4th spot, depending a bit how Minnesota now develops their game after being absent for quite some time from the games.
Yeah, I think it's not any surprise that Kings is above the Arizona because they won last night the game, so simulation naturally understands that this team is better.
Yeah, if you beat your rival every time, you're probably gonna end up on top of them. So this is true for the system at least.
Especially if you beat them in a shootout that can go either way, like we very well know.
Yes.
But we have also a few games for tonight. There is only 4 games scheduled, but out of those games we have find some value here. So Edmonton continues their road trip to Calgary. They face Calgary team that is not playing very well at home, as we all know, and that is something that every time you need to take into consideration when Calgary plays at home. That do they have any kind of home team advantage? And Edmonton gets here plus odds and is performing better than Calgary. That is a bit roller coaster team. Some nights they play very well, some nights not so well. So Edmonton is on the road, our pick. And then another on the road team, Winnipeg, goes to Vancouver. There, Vancouver played against Calgary a few nights ago pretty well, but they have been also struggling a little bit with scoring. And while Winnipeg is quite strong on offense, they have Connor Hellebuck on the goal. So Winnipeg again with the plus odds on the road is the second pick.
Yeah, these picks from Canada, again, very even division in all regards. And we like these heavy offensive teams, of course, and especially with the plus odds. These are very, very nice value picks. Calgary lost to Vancouver last time at home 1-5. It was quite an offensive game, but Calgary managed to score only once against Vancouver team that is not by any means a defensive top team of the league. So a little bit of a worry going on in Calgary. They have not been able to produce offensively quite as much as expected from those players. And then in the defense, they are very shaky at times. They are playing really well. Jacob Markstrom looks like a Vezina candidate, but then there is some collapses and lousier teams have scored a lot of goals. So now facing Edmonton, who've gotten over their little slump there. They've only lost, I think, 3 games in their last 10 fixtures. So Edmonton is a red-hot team and going to face their rivals in the let's say not so much of a home advantage for Calgary. So I think Edmonton with this price is an excellent pick. And a little bit of a similar situation in Vancouver where Winnipeg goes. Winnipeg also this sort of shaky team defensively, especially if they can't score goals, they will lose games because they have to score 3 to 4 goals at least to be winning. But against Vancouver, I think Winnipeg Jets has a great chance to do just that. Connor Hellebuck in the net, excellent goalkeeper. Even if the defense allows Vancouver to get some chances, I think Winnipeg will take the 2 points here, maybe after overtime or a shootout. But still, Winnipeg is a stronger team, and also with these odds, it's a no-brainer again.
We picked 2 teams on the road. There's 2 other games. Chicago goes to Carolina, and Florida plays against Detroit. Do we have some value on the road team in these 2 games as well?
Yeah, surprisingly, we do actually have all the 4 games have side value for the road teams, which doesn't happen many times. But in Detroit, of course, Detroit not that good a team. Florida has played extremely well, especially offensively. We have Florida winning almost 70% of the simulation, so great value there if you like away favorites. The odds are not great, minus 175 for the Panthers, so that's why we're not gonna pick that game, even if there is about 7-8% value according to the simulations. And then we have a road underdog, Kevin Lankinen or Malcolm Subban. It doesn't seem to matter for Chicago Blackhawks. They get it done. But they are facing a really tough Carolina team. We have Chicago winning 43% of the games. The odds are around 180, which translates to 35%. So there is value for the road underdog Chicago, but Carolina is a really strong team. So maybe take another look at that if you are willing to take the risk.
Yeah, and I think when Carolina lost against Florida after leading 2-0 after the first period in last game, they might be a bit revenge set up in this game against the Blackhawks, and Blackhawks have been, like you said, playing very well. They have won teams, but again, last 2 games against Detroit, not so great team at the end. So now the opponent, as Carolina, is few notch better.
Yeah, definitely. And Carolina still looking a little bit of their potential. They're not maybe playing yet as well as they can. So they are a little bit still hanging with a one line. But they are a deep team, and they have a lot of energy, a lot of pace, a lot of speed. So especially offensively, this will be a tough matchup for Chicago defense to hold out the Carolina offense.
Very good. We'll check these 4 games tonight and continue in next video tomorrow.
Yeah, have a good Friday.